Welcome to the first video of PMP Mindset series. This is based on customer first and value driven thinking. If you are preparing for the PMP exam, this is what you need to understand immediately. The exam is not testing if you can memorize processes. It is testing how you can think. Two candidates can know the same things. One passes and one fails. The difference is the mindset. And one of the most tested mindset in the PMP exam is this. The customer comes first and the thinking should be value driven. Today we are going to train that mindset using real life PMP questions and answers. No theory, no definitions and situations exactly like you will see them on the real exam. We will show you the way to think through them correctly. What the value driven thinking means for PMP. In the PMP exam, consider this. Project manager is not a caretaker of the activities. He is not just a task controller. The project manager is a value guardian. That means you are constantly validating in every situation that the decision still makes business sense. You are listening to the stakeholders, you are protecting the business case. The plan is important, the governance is important, but the value comes first. Let's apply that thinking. Scenario 1. Evolving business needs. This is a real exam style question. Let's take a look at this question. You are managing a predictive project that is currently on schedule and within budget. During a quarterly review meeting, the customer expresses concern that recent market changes may reduce the strategic benefit of the project deliverables. The PMP exam will ask you, what should the project manager do first? Options are A. Inform the customer that any modifications must follow the formal change control process. Option B. Continue executing the project according to the approved project management plan. That means do nothing. Option C. Schedule a meeting to better understand the customer's concerns and assess the impact of this change. Option D is escalate the issue to the project sponsor for getting his direction. Now take a moment and think through it. The correct answer is option C. This is a classic PMP mindset. Before escalating or before defending the baseline, first you seek understanding of the problem. If the market conditions shift, the value may shift. And if the value shift, the business case may require reassessment. So the option A is premature. Change control may be required later, but not before the analysis. Option B ignores the potential strategic misalignment. And option D escalates before you have performed any due diligence. Now understand that the exam rewards ownership and analysis. If there is a change in the scenario described, you have to first go and assess the scenario, assess the impact on all the aspects of the project. Time, cost, quality, schedule, everything. Now take a look at the follow-up question on the same scenario. Now after assessing the scenario or assessing the impact or doing the analysis, the project manager discovers that a major deliverable will not create the expected value. What should the project manager do now when the return on investment which was expected will no longer be produced? So the options are A. Remove the deliverable from scope immediately. Option B. Update the risk register and continue monitoring the risk. Option C. Review and validate the business case with the project sponsor. And option D. Continue the work and reassess during project closing. Now the correct answer is option C. Review and reassess the business case with the project sponsor. A project must remain justified throughout its lifespan. So in between, if the return on investment is changing, it has to be reassessed, it has to be discussed with the right people, with the sponsor to validate the business case. So the option A, that removes the deliverable from scope immediately, it skips the governance. Option B, which is update the risk register and continue monitoring the risk, it addresses the symptoms but not gets the strategic alignment. Option D is to continue work and reassess during the project closing. So option D is delaying the action and continuing the investment with the risk. This is a non-viable outcome. So the PMP exam continuously supports protecting the organizational value rather than continuing the execution blindly. Let's take a look at scenario 2, the late feature request. So the project sponsor has requested an additional feature in the project. The team has assessed that the added features will extend the schedule of the project by 3 weeks. Now here is the question. What should the project manager do first? And the options are A. Reject the request to protect the schedule baseline. Option B is analyze the impact of the change on scope, schedule, cost, and business value. Option C is direct the team to compress the schedule. Option D is to escalate the request to the steering committee. Let's think over this. So the correct answer is B. Think before reacting. And you will see this pattern repeatedly on the PMP exam. Analyze before reacting. Strong project managers do not say yes or no immediately. They go back, gather the data, assess the data, see the impact on the time, cost, schedule, quality, cost, everything, and then they take the decision. So what they do is assess the impact and evaluate the changed value. So here we can see the option A was to reject the request, which is very defensive. Option C is to direct the team to compress the schedule. This is risking the burnout and quality issues will be there in the future. Option D, going to the steering committee, is escalation without analysis. So option B is the right option to analyze the impact of the change. Take the scope, take the schedule, what is the impact on the cost, is the business value still valid, validate the business value, and then move on to the decision making. So the PMP mindset is structured, it is analytical. Now let's go on with the next follow-up question. Now you have assessed the impact of the change, you know what is the impact on the cost, schedule, resources. After completing this impact analysis, the project manager determines the new feature significantly increases customer satisfaction, but it delays the market launch. Now, what is the next best step? Is it A. Approve the change immediately? Is it B. Submit the change request through the integrated change control process? Option C is to ask the sponsor to defer the request to a future phase. And option D is to update the schedule baseline to reflect the delay. Think about the correct answer. The correct answer is B. Even if the change is value enhancing, it should go through the governance procedures. This PMP mindset balances agility with control. So the value informs the decisions, but the discipline protects the organization. Scenario 3. Agile value misalignment. In an agile project, stakeholders review the latest product increment. Although it meets the acceptance criteria, they indicate it does not adequately solve the primary business problem. Here is your question. What should the project manager or scrum master do? Option A is to close the sprint and proceed to the next iteration. Option B is to facilitate a discussion to refine and prioritize the product backlog. Option C is to document the feedback for future consideration, and option D is to replace the product owner. Now, if you look at all these options, option B sounds to be the most suitable option, which is facilitate a discussion to refine and reprioritize the product backlog. The agile environments are built on frequent inspection and adaptability. If the delivered functionality does not meet the business needs, backlog refinement is required. So option A is ignoring the value feedback. Option C is delaying the necessary adaptation. And option D is an extreme reaction without the root cause analysis. Again, the value alignment is driving the action. Let's look at scenario 4, market disruption. Let's see the scenario. Midway through the project execution, a competitor releases a disruptive product that significantly reduces the projected profitability for your product's deliverables. Interesting. What should the project manager do first? Option A, Terminate the project immediately. Option B is to continue execution to avoid sunk cost loss. Option C, conduct a benefits review with key stakeholders. And option D is to reduce the project scope to control the cost. To me, it sounds like option C, conduct a benefits review with key stakeholders, is the most suitable answer in this scenario. The PMP exam expects rational evaluation of the scenario, not the emotion based reactive decision making. So, before terminating the project or reducing the scope of the project, you review the updated forecast and confirm whether the project is still viable. So, now the analysis has confirmed that the project no longer is aligned with the strategic objectives of the project. In that situation, what is the best course of action? Let's look at the options. So, option A is to fast track the remaining work to finish quickly. Option B is to recommend project termination. Option C is to reduce quality requirements to save the cost. And option D is to request additional funding to recover the losses. Now look at the scenario where the analysis has confirmed that project is not aligned with strategic objectives. So there is no any point in continuing with this project. In that case, the correct answer I would suggest is B. It is to recommend the project termination. This may feel uncomfortable, but it is very PMP aligned answer, and PMP expects this kind of decision making. So continuing a project that's no longer going to deliver the expected value is called poor governance. This exam strongly supports protecting organizational investment. So looking at the key exam pattern, if you look at every correct answer that we have seen today, you will notice a consistent pattern. So the correct answer always seeks understanding first, analyzes the impact before taking any decision, they validate alignment with the business case, and protect value over process rigidity or egos. That is the PMP thinking. Practical mindset training. As you start preparing for the exam, start practicing with this mindset shift. One important tip: while reading any question, ask yourself, which option best protects the business value in the long term? Now that question itself will eliminate half of the wrong answers. So the PMP exam is not about memorization. It is about judgment, and the judgment comes from the right mindset. In the next video, we'll learn about servant leadership and team empowerment, another heavily tested PMP mindset. If this has helped you to think more clearly about PMP exam questions, please subscribe to PMX Hub. At PMX Hub, we are not just preparing to pass, we are preparing to think like project leaders. For more content related to PMP exam and project management, please follow PMX Hub on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you.